finding a new project to work on. I think we've decided on this piece of absolute shit. This is a Rocketta. This is basically a big boy go-kart. So it's got a pretty decent sized motor. This thing is absolutely fucked. As you can see, the wiring is a shit show. But other than that, it's supposed to run okay. That's the size of the battery that powers this whole unit. I'm almost positive that thing's toast. Liquid cooled, big fucking radiator up top. We'll double check that. I don't think the fans are fucking working. That would be a temp sensor. Hopefully that's good. I'm trying to think. Suspension wise, it's all there and all good. It has good brakes. Tires on it are good. I'll be them flat. Theoretically, the lights work. They're LEDs. I don't really give a fuck about the horns. Let's see. We have 3 gears: neutral, drive, and reverse. Needs a cooler shifter knob though. So we're gonna get this thing in the shop, and that means I'm gonna go get the fork schniffed, bringing this war inside. And we're good. All right. We fork schnifted her in, no problem. Now to see if this thing actually runs. All right, the battery is completely dead, so we have the jump pack hooked up to it. See if it even cranks. That's a good sign. So now we just need to make everything else on it work. Fans are on. Okay. So they're wired constantly on. Is the key in the on position? It is. Turn it off. And the fan stops. I'm all right with that. If the fan is always on, then there's no way it should overheat. Ooh, is that a relay? That probably shouldn't be touching metal. Okay. So we've got a bunch of vacuum lines unhooked at the carburetor. There's your electric choke. This looks like it's EFI. Alright, is it EFI? Or is this the carburetor? It's kind of hard to tell sometimes. I think that's a carburetor. I don't see a bunch of shit. And there's no O2 sensor. But there is this fucking thing. Providing vacuum from there up and for something I don't fucking know. Fuel is going in. There should probably be something there. Yeah. Does not look fun.
That thing's a fucking mess, dude.
Yeah, it looks like a fucking mess.
You should have seen it before it got here.
Oh, at least it kind of cranks, you know?
They didn't do that before. Like when they first dropped it off, it wouldn't do shit.
Well, that's an improvement.
Basically, somebody stole it from her. They rewired the ignition and shit because they didn't have the key for it.
Yeah.
So they put a fucking wiring job in to override a bunch of shit so that they could start it. They had it for fucking 2 years and somehow she got it back.
That's pretty cool. So we have our lead hooked up to some random fucking jumble of metal right there. And we're gonna hook it to our thing. Oh boy, so that's getting power all the time. So we have a constant 12 there if we need to steal power from anything, but it looks like there's 4 fucking wires going from it. So we're done stealing from that little guy. We're gonna clean that up and do it the right way, because if we take the clip off, it looks like, yeah, they just wrap the wires up. So that'll need to be cleaned to prevent it from shorting out anywhere. this relay right here, I would really like that to have a cap on it. It's not doing a whole lot. So, all right, so what I want to do right now is I want to see if we're getting spark. So we're gonna pull this guy out, see if it is. It looks pretty new. I would assume we are. And then if we're getting spark, we'll move on to fuel delivery. All right, so we pulled the spark plug out. She's a little nasty. We'll probably clean her up. It is a relatively new plug, so we're gonna put her back in the thing, point it at something metallic-y, and see if he's got spark keys. All right, we have spark. All right, so we have crank, we have spark, we have fuel coming into the fuel filter, and therefore going into the carburetor. We have a bunch of vacuum ports though. This one to the thermostat doesn't have a temperature sensor, and the vacuum port from that is capped off. What did I just do? I hit something. Oh, I just popped my alligator clip off. So I'm not sure what these ports do. We have 2 ports from the intake and the carburetor going up to this box up here, which then goes out to this really big guy out here, which I have no idea where that goes. So if the engine does run, it probably doesn't have enough vacuum to stay running, I would imagine, and I'm just guessing. So we need to figure out where does these vacuums go, or if they're even necessary. Because if they're not necessary, we're just gonna cap them. And in fact, we're gonna cap them off all first and spray some starting juice into it, see if we can't get it to fire. And we have a full tank of really warm, kind of smells like gas. It probably lights on fire. We're not gonna test that, unfortunately. That leaks. But we got a good tank, good enough gas, hopefully. It probably lights on fire and therefore it'll combust. So we just need to figure out if it'll run. Okay. All right, so we capped off these ports at the carburetor. 2 of them with really nice vacuum caps, and then 1 with a screw, obviously. So now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go through it one more time real quick and pull this plastic piece of shit off, spray some fluid into there. And actually there's a hole right there. I think we can just go right for the money. So we're gonna get some starting fluid in there. On the off chance that this choke doesn't work, I think I have a replacement electric choke for it. Green and yellow wire, so it should be the same if it doesn't work. I'm assuming it does. I'm assuming it works. But I will soon be disappointed when this doesn't run. I do want to drain the old gas out of the carburetor, out of the bowl at least. So we're gonna grab a Phillips head, drain it out real quick, and let her fill back up. All right. So just undo that. I think it's a little yellowish. Well, at least we know we're getting. Oh, it looked like it cleared up a little bit. Let's close this guy up. It's a good way. We know we're getting fuel all into the carburetor. Oh, now it's leaking. What the fuck? Come on, really? Is it leaking from this fucking thing? Please tell me that's gas and not water. Well, I don't like it. Anyway, I didn't even, what the fuck? So we peeled her back a little bit. I wonder if it's fucking, if the carburetor's stuck open and it's flooding. Well, let's crank, see what happens. If it blows up, there's fire extinguishers. Let's see, that's all just air box. So we can run with it like that. Yeah, if this carburetor is stuck open, because the John Deere, our tractor, did the same thing, where the carburetor stuck open and was just completely flooding the motor. So maybe afterwards we'll pull that. Focus, you piece of shit. We'll pull this plug back out. Remember how it was black before? I wonder if it's getting a fuckload of fuel onto it. Uh-oh. It was still cranking with it in the, what the fuck? So, it ran, but... So, it runs. Unfortunately, the starter is staying on in the run position after it's engaged. Okay, so we just got off the phone with the electrical guru himself, and he claims that there's probably a point at where the ignition is crossed into the starter that's holding it constant voltage. Do you remember that T we taped up earlier? My gut is telling me it might be that. It could also be voltage is backfeeding into another circuit, but I'm inclined to say that somebody wired, they crossed two wires. The fact that this thing was stolen, that's probably how they hotwired it, was they just crossed it over and went. So we're gonna back check from the starter all the way forward. All right, so while fucking around, we figured out that when the lights are turned off, what the fuck? All right. So when the lights are on, all right, you can let the key go, crank it normal. You turn the lights off, you go and crank it, and it does that. So this switch does something useful. So we can get it to run when we jiggle these fucking wires, these yellow and green braided wires. Peeling back a bunch of electrical tape, and there's just little electrical tape joints everywhere. Red to yellow, like, for a crack addict, this is pretty neat, but this is still absolute trash. But at least it kind of runs. We're getting there. So after removing about 2 feet of electrical tape, we have little electrical taped joints here and there. There's a cut wire down there. Well, actually just missing the rest of the connector. It's crimped. Let's see. That is exposed. It's in there, but I don't know how well it is. This is kind of concerning. So. Keep going. I really don't feel like I'm making progress, though. I just find more issues. But that's how it do be sometimes. So I guess we'll try and clean up these connectors, hopefully make a little bit better connections. Hopefully it actually stays running. This right here. This is how it's supposed to be done. Not this. That's not how it's supposed to be done. This is right. This is wrong. What in the meth head fucking shit? The wire is wrapped around most of the just insulation, not making a connection. I bet you that's why it won't stay running. 6 butt connectors later, and we finally fixed the twisted wire issues. It's still having an issue where it only runs for a couple of seconds. I don't know what that's all about. Let's see. What else can we do? I don't know. I don't know why it won't stay running. It might be the choke. I don't know. What happens? Can we disconnect this from somewhere? Wait, what the fuck? Oh, I bet you I know where that goes. Holy fuck. Okay. 7 butt connectors later. The wiring looks okay. I still need to put it in some loom, but hopefully that's all why it won't stay running, is because it's not choking itself. So let's give it another whirl, shall we? We gotta turn our lights on for the ignition and pray. Come on. Damn you. All right. It runs, it just doesn't stay running. Running and idling. Let's see if it can't go for a drive. Idle's a little high, but I really don't want to stall. She's just been collecting all kinds of fucking fuel in the carburetor. Absolute garbage. So what, you came out and it was just completely full of gas?
Yeah. Just grab
Little wet spot in the ground. She peed a little.
Just grab the air filter and start dumping it all out.
I bet you it wouldn't have started. Well, I bet you I know what's wrong with it. I bet you it needs a carburetor. Didn't I say that before? I feel like I said that before. I feel like it's safe to say that Rocketta is not going anywhere in this episode. All right, one more shot. We have a brand new carbonator, so hopefully it's not constantly leaking fuel. If this doesn't get it running, then I'm ending the episode. So that's that. We're gonna slap this fucker in and cross our fingers and pray it runs. She's installed. She has a healthy dose of starting fluid. It's starting to rain. Oh, get the fucking foot on the go pedal. We'll see. Come on, sweetie. I know you want to. Fucking whore. So we noticed it would only fire up when you jiggle a wiring harness, and we kept tracing it back. And I know you've seen these red wires before. And again, they're just all fucking tied together and then taped together. And then we gotta do it the right way. And then hopefully this thing will run. If you stuck around this long, then hopefully you're in for a fucking treat, because I plan on driving this thing out of the shop because I'm getting sick of working on it. It doesn't seem like it wants to stay running, but you jiggle these and it seems to fire and also kill it. So that's a problem. All right, so after Cole fucking dropped it in oil, I figured that the best way to make the plug sit on there better was to just zip tie it on there. And it seems to be fucking solid, so we're working on making a cover to cover this up. It's been idling for like 5 minutes now. When we cover up the electronics and make them all more secure, we're gonna go take this thing out for a fucking rip. The brake lights still just stay on at all times, but you don't need brake lights. The gas tank leaks gas. The alignment is off, but it runs and it stays running. And this is super fucking fun. All right, So we got it running and driving. It hauls pretty good. But now we're working on making it just that much better. So what did we do? We sealed off the gas tank so it's no longer leaking. We obviously built this shield to keep the electronics dry. I just put on these fenders that came off of a Trailmaster. And I'm having a meeting today with a guy who's gonna build me brackets for our front fenders. And we're gonna put on these, I have the wrong side, Blazer fenders on the front, so it'll look really nice. We'll paint them black. And then we need to make the horn work. And then this thing should be golden. Not worried too much about the mirrors because, well, let's be honest, they're on there. Seatbelts all buckle. Coolant stays cool. And it doesn't leak thanks to the good old Mechanic Dave plastic bag method. And I feel very connected with this piece of automotive garbage. You know, it's big, it's fun. It's like getting into it is getting into a go-kart, but it's man-sized. If only it could be fucking a 5-speed or something like that, that would be cool. But we can't all get what we want. Ain't that right? Well, it's Mechanic Dave coming to you from the local forklift. And I just want to say I hope you enjoyed watching the video of us fixing this go-kart. It was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, though, it's time to give it back. Maybe we can buy it one day. But for now, I'm just happy to work on it. So we're going to take this forklift, go load it up for them. But in the meantime, you guys can go check out another video or smoke a blunt. I don't really care what you do. Just enjoy your life and have fun, much like what I'm doing. Adios.